What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I am back with a definitive answer to a question that I've been asked by a whole bunch of people. The question people keep asking me is, hey Wossy, do you think we're gonna get white option cards? And at this stage I feel extremely confident saying yes, we definitely are going to get white option cards. Because we've seen a white option card, which does take a fair bit of the mystery out of the question. Now, it is kind of important to note here that we did get white tamers in this set for the very first time. This was the debut of white tamers, like, for instance, that Nokia card, which got a lot of people rather excited because it's a very nice card. And the Iba Takumi card that seems like it might end Rookie Rush. Ha! They are from the Cyber Sleuth games, if anyone's wondering. Really need to start those games. I'm playing too many games. It's too awkward. Anyway, yes, we're going to be getting white option cards, and the first one is called Fuse into the Ultimate Dragon. Shout out to the lovely folks at DigimonCard.dev and Ensan Gaming for rocking us with translations here. And we should be able to have a look at another lovely option card before we finish today as well. So what we've got here is a white option card, and it is a 0 cost. Now, the first thing we need to ask, the first question that needs to be asked here essentially is, what's the deal with white option cards? And the deal is, unless and until we are told something else, we should assume that they work like every option card we've ever seen works. That is to say, if you want to play a white option card, you have to have either a white tamer or a white Digimon on the field. Now, having a white Digimon is going to be a little bit awkward, if I'm honest with you, because the only Digimon we've seen so far that are white are either level 6s or level 7s. And even level 6s, like, it's literally just Diaboromon. We've seen a bunch of level 7s, and we've seen Diaboromon. That is it. That is completely it in terms of white Digimon. So, yeah, fine, you might be playing an Omnimon deck, but do you really want to have an Omnimon in play in order to be using this option card? I would argue probably not, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. I would argue that maybe we can try something a bit less awkward. So essentially here, if you're going to be using this card, you probably need to have a white tamer. Because if you don't have a white tamer, the chances of being able to use this card all the time, it's just going to be super awkward, right? It's unlikely to work. But then again, when I started this video, told you about Iba and I told you about Nokia. So they'll work. Not to mention we've got Tai and Yamato, the lovely Jewel Tamer, which will work just as well here. Although having said that, that is a 4-cost tamer. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of using Takumi Iba here, because when you Digivolve, you get to draw a card, and all level 3 Digimon get to, or have to, lose a memory when they attack. So essentially, you've got a bit of a draw engine and a Rookie Rush counter in a 2-cost tamer, which is already ridiculous. It's probably the best tamer. Well, no, I called it the best tamer so far. I still stand by that, incidentally. But then we've also then got a white tamer on the board, which will open up our option card, which is quite nice. So with the preamble out of the way, what does it actually do? And I'm sorry, but that was a really important question that needed to be answered. For the remainder of the turn, the next time you would Digivolve one of your Digimon from a level 6 to a level 7, decrease your Digivolution cost by 6, which makes them all free. There are none that cost more than that as it stands at the moment. However, at the end of the turn, return the Digimon that Digivolved to the bottom of your deck, trashing all the Digivolution cards. So essentially, it gives you one turn of a free to Digivolve level 7, but then you lose a level 7, and you don't just lose a level 7, you also lose the level 6, the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2. You lose everything. So this is essentially, this is either a game-winning attack, or it is a swing turn attack. This is where you basically go, right, this is going to cost a lot. This is going to get rid of my best Digimon on the field, but it's going to be worth it because what I do this turn is either going to win me the game, so I'm fine, or it's going to set me up in such a good position that I am extremely unlikely to lose from here. Okay, nice. And that's where we go. I mean, going back to the BT1 Omnimon here, Omnimon, when you Digivolve, you get to delete one of your opponent's Digimon and all the Digimon that share a name with it. And then when you attack, you can return a level 6 under it to your hand to unsuspend. So essentially, you play this zero-cost option. You Digivolve Omnimon for 0. And then you get to delete, either one or a bunch of your opponent's Digimon. And you essentially get to attack with Omnimon twice, but you definitely haven't passed a turn over to your opponent. So even though you lose Omnimon at the end of the turn, you've done some deletion, and you've attacked twice, and you haven't spent any memory, and your turn isn't over yet, so you can essentially keep going for a little while. And that's why I love this card so gosh darned much. If you're playing a level 7 deck, this seems like a really nice option. You're not going to want to use it super early in the game, and you're not going to want to use it willy-nilly. You're going to need to time this well, right? But oh my goodness, when you play this at the right time, this will either win you the game outright, or it will swing the game over to you to the point where you're going to feel pretty confident you're going to be able to end the game. And that's why I absolutely love this. I can keep going through other level 7 examples, but I think at this stage, I've largely made my point. I'm giving this 4 Wassies. The thing is, this is an absolutely flat out, hands down, no question, phenomenal card, and it's free. But it only works in level 7 decks, and even in level 7 decks, there are only going to be some turns you want to use it. Of course, worth bearing in mind that because Digimon is a game with almost no hand disruption, you can essentially draw this and just wait till the perfect turn, which is kind of cool. But while we're here, we might as well have a little bit of a look at a green option card that's gone and been revealed. It is Whistlein? Seems to be how it is being translated by both Entan Gaming and DigimonCard.dev, so let's believe them on this one. It is a 6-cost option card, so very much not cheap. It is green, and when you play it, up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon can neither attack nor block until the end of your opponent's next turn. But if you've got a Digimon in play with Digiburst, you gain 2 memory. So essentially, if you've got a Digiburst Digimon out, you actually only play this as a 4-cost, because remember, everything gets sorted out before we try and figure out whose turn it is. So that's fine. You're fine there. It's not really you pay 6 and then we see whose turn it is. No. It is you pay 6, get 2 back, you've essentially paid 4. And if you're doing that, it is basically double Sorrow Blue. Sorrow Blue, remember, did come out of the blue starter deck, and it was a 2-cost option card that said, until the end of your opponent's next turn, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards cannot attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this isn't double Sorrow Blue, this is double significantly better Sorrow Blue. This is, I just get to pick any one I like. And if you're playing a Digiburst deck, you have got to be considering this very, very strongly indeed. Well, a green Digiburst deck. In fact, let's not beat around the bush here. This is absolutely made for Rafflesamon, or Raffle Simon as I like to call her. Raffle Simon here has Digiburst 2. So we've got Digiburst, therefore we get the cheaper activation of the card. And the Digiburst 2 gives your Digimon extra 2,000 power for the turn. But on your turn, limited to once during your turn, when one of your Digimon uses Digiburst, you get to choose one of your opponent's Digimon and then it can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. Oh look, ladies and gentlemen, Look at that. This is essentially double that skill. So if you're playing Raffle Simon here, and you're playing this card, you could be potentially turning off 3 of your opponent's Digimon, or maybe even more in a turn, which is ridiculous. I should mention, as a security card, it stops 2 of your opponent's Digimon attacking this turn, and then if you've got a Digimon with Digiburst, you gain 2 memory. To be fair, gaining 2 memory means that as a security card, it is essentially Hammer Spark, and we all like Hammer Spark. It's a ridiculous card. The fact that it stops them attacking is fine, but it really does depend on when it actually comes out. Because if this comes out when your opponent is attacking with their final Digimon, it's kind of irrelevant. Doesn't really matter. But if it comes out at the beginning of their turn, or when they're attacking with their first Digimon, and it literally does stop them attacking with a couple, then all of a sudden that is a very, very different proposition indeed. I'm not loving how expensive it is, but if you're playing a Rafflesimon deck here, I don't see why you wouldn't play this card. Yes, it's a 4-cost, and 4-cost is moderately expensive, but the fact of the matter is here, you're only paying 4, you're turning off 2 of your opponent's Digimon, and of course with Rafflesimon you're also turning off your opponent's Digimon, so you're essentially taking, hopefully every turn, a couple of your opponent's Digimon, maybe more, and taking them out the game, buying yourself time you need to win. There has got to be a deck building up around here. I'm giving this between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. Because as much as I like the card, and I really do think the number of decks it can fit in is extremely narrow. And even in those decks, we don't always have 4 memory to pay an option. Although as a security, oh my goodness, I absolutely adore it. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/BTCG where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassy Plays.